Chemriabsua, you beautiful cunts. Khmer Rouge here. I was watching videos about the cosmos and astrology when this video popped up in my auto playlist.
10 facts that evolutionists don't want you to know.
Before we get into this video, I just wanted to state that everyone has a right to their own opinions, just as much as we have a right to critique them. Now let's see what this shithead has to say.
Fact number 1. The Big Bang Theory is one of the most ridiculously impractical theories for the origin of the universe.
One of the most, you say? I'm glad we both agree that creationism is the most ridiculous theory. Also, a theory doesn't mean theory in the science community. You're mistaking theory for hypothesis.
Basically, the Big Bang Theory teaches that a large quantity of nothing decided to pack together tightly.
You mean like a black hole?
And explode outward in order to create stars.
Like a white hole.
And heavier elements through more solar combustions. What makes this theory so impractical is, first of all, nothing can't explode. I mean, when was the last time you blew up nothing?
Wait, doesn't the Bible claim that God created the universe out of nothing? If anything, you should be claiming the Big Bang Theory was the work of God.
This should just go without saying. Next, explosions don't produce organization. They do the opposite. They cause destruction. Think about it. It's like saying you could throw a bomb into a junkyard and get a Mercedes dealership. It's impossible. It just can't happen.
Only a retard would think that a car dealership can form from a junkyard explosion. However, stars and planetary systems can form and have formed from the matters from the Big Bang.
Fact number 2. The fossil record does not support the theory of evolution. This is because no actual complete skeletal missing links have been found. Missing links are remains that prove one species have crossed over to another, like a half-man, half-monkey. Evolution teaches that, through natural selection and mutations, it took man approximately 6 million years to evolve. That means during that whole time, species of animals were changing from one to another and progressing towards manhood. Yet, there is not one complete set of skeletal remains that prove this. There should be literally millions of complete skeletal remains.
I don't think this retard knows how fossils work. Animals that die near sedimentary rocks had a better chance of their bones being protected from decomposition. Inorganic parts of the bone, or the parts made from minerals like calcium, turns into fossils.
Of transitional types of species if evolution did, in fact, take that long to occur. But what do we have instead? Some skulls and teeth and other small fragments of bone, which really prove nothing, because if you don't have the complete skeleton from where the remains came from, you can't prove they are transitional fossils.
See, that's the beauty of carbon dating and DNA. You can match fossils to its origins without having the complete skeleton. Fucking science.
Simply claiming those remains came from a transitional type of species is not enough proof. Not to mention, some of those transitional fragments have turned out to be complete hoaxes. Take Piltdown Man, for example. In 1912, parts of a jaw and skull were found in England and called Piltdown Man. Evolutionists used these remains to claim they had clear evidence that man descended from ape-like creatures. However, in 1953, it was proven to be a total forgery. Laboratory tests confirmed that the bones were rather recent, not ancient, and that they had been stained with bichromate to make them look old. Also, the canine tooth of the skull was found to have been filed and stained. This isn't the only hoax like this. I'll include a link in the description box to a book entitled Evolution Cruncher, which goes into more detail about this and thousands of other scientific facts that discredit the theory of evolution.
And no attention seekers have ever claimed seeing angels, or demons, or claimed to having healing powers from or spoken directly to God. While Piltdown turned out to be a hoax, it was discredited by a group of researchers. Meanwhile, when someone says they saw an angel, demon, or having magic healing power, the claim is often labeled as true without proof or skepticism by the religious community.
Fact number 3. Dinosaurs did not go extinct 65 million years ago. In 2005, paleontologist Mary Schweitzer discovered blood vessels in the thigh bone of a Tyrannosaurus rex, which supposedly went extinct 68 million years ago. But according to the theory of evolution, this is impossible, because traditional ideas of how fossils form do not allow for the preservation of soft, perishable organic tissues. Not to mention, the thigh bone itself was relatively unfossilized. This points to a young age for the remains of the dinosaur bones, roughly about 4,300 years, corresponding with the time of the biblical flood.
So God killed all of the dinosaurs with the flood. What an arsehole. He couldn't just command Noah to build a bigger boat. Also, if dinosaurs were alive 4,000 years ago, people wouldn't have been alive. They would have been eaten. Just saying. The flood myth has already been debunked. While sea level rose globally around 6,500 BC, no record from other civilization match the story of the biblical flood. It's almost as if the world-ending flood only happened in the Middle East. China, for example, was one of the world's 4 ancient civilizations with history dating back over 5,000 years. Apparently, they didn't get flooded out by God.
Not only did dinosaurs not go extinct 65 million years ago, there still may be some around today. Over the past century, there have been a few instances where what looked like dinosaur carcasses have been discovered. The 2 images that you see here are of 2 possible
possible. A few minutes ago, you were talking about people faking fossils. The photo on the left looks like a dolphin. The website on the right doesn't even exist.
Plesiosaurs. The one on the left washed ashore in Monterey Bay, California in 1925. It had a 20-foot long neck, and some witnesses described a number of legs on the creature. The image on the right is of a creature that was caught off the coast of New Zealand in 1977 by a Japanese fishing boat. It was 32 feet long and weighed 2 tons. Fact number 4. Evolution has occult roots.
Everything has an occult roots according to religion. That's how you deter people. It's the old, if you're not with us, you're against us mentality.
Many people don't realize this, but Charles Darwin was not the inventor of evolution. He just made it popular. The fact of the matter is, evolution has much older occultic roots. Thousands of years before Darwin, people in shamanic cultures believed that humans and animals were related. Evolution is also at the core of the Hindu and witchcraft belief system. In addition, ancient Greek philosophers spoke about evolutionary concepts. Thales of Miletus asserted that all things originated from water, and Anaximander suggested that men originated from animals of another sort.
These brilliant men were way ahead of their time. Seriously, look them up. These guys were one of the forefathers of science.
The theory of evolution can also be compared to the New Age movement and Freemasonry. The New Age movement teaches that humanity is evolving to a cosmic consciousness which will enable us to attain to the godhood within us. Freemasonry teaches that through a progression or evolution of degrees, one may become God. Of course, this lie comes straight from Satan when he told Eve in Genesis chapter 3 verse 4, "Ye shall be as gods."
Speaking of teachings, the Bible teaches that all races and their languages were made by God magic. Why didn't he just give us one language so we can fucking understand each other?
Fact number 5. Evolution is impossible because of irreducible complexity. Irreducible complexity means that certain biological systems are too complex to have evolved from simpler or less complete predecessors through natural selection or chance mutations. There is an entire series of videos which go into detail about this subject called Incredible Creatures That Defy Evolution. You can even find clips of those videos on YouTube, and they have a webpage on BibleProbe.com.
So you're taking the word of a Bible webpage about the origin of species and expect it to be unbiased? That's like going to a feminist webpage and expect not to get unbiased stats.
They talk about animals that could not have evolved because they are too complex. One example is the bombardier beetle. The following quotes are from their webpage. The bombardier beetle defends itself by mixing chemicals that explode, firing through twin-tailed tubes that can swivel like gun turrets. The bubbling liquid that shoots out at 212 degrees Fahrenheit is enough to deter most predators. The force of the round fired should be enough to blast a little beetle into orbit, if not pieces, and it would be if it was discharged at one time. Slow motion photography has revealed that the crafty beetle actually lets go with a stream of up to 1,000 little explosions. Together, they are enough to put off would-be attackers while leaving the small defender with its feet still on the ground. There is simply no way the bombardier beetle could have evolved its sophisticated defense system over time.
I think this goes without saying. We see it time and time again. Animals adapt accordingly to their environment. Those who don't ends up extinct. What's baffling to me is that creationists will acknowledge microevolution, a change in a species over a short period of time, but when it comes to macroevolution, they just can't wrap their heads that a bunch of microevolutions can result in a macroevolution change in a species. Take for example, our nails. We no longer dig with our hands and feet, so our finger and toenails has softened up. We have less body hair because we no longer live in an ice age. Nipples on men are useless, and we have a tailbone and no tail. That shit is pointless and uncomfortable.
Fact number 6. Evolution is impossible because of the DNA species barrier. DNA doesn't allow one species to evolve into another one. In other words, there is no way, no matter how hard you try, that you can produce a cat from mating different breeds of dogs over time.
No, you retard. Dogs and cats aren't in the same family. A species can macro-evolve into another species as long as it's in the same family. Dogs are canine, cats are feline.
It's a biological impossibility. DNA has a species barrier, which prohibits one species of animal or plant from crossing over into another one. The best that can be accomplished is the creation of different breeds within a species. Take the American English Coonhound, for example. It's a 1905 breed of dog developed from Virginia hounds, which were developed over time from dogs imported to the United States. But it's still just a dog, even though it's a relatively new breed. Also, if you look at different animals and plants in the world, they are relatively easy to distinguish. It's not hard to see that a fish, dog, cat, monkey, and human being are all different species.
This guy's been drinking too much blood of Christ. Every species didn't come from one type of fish. First, you have millions of microorganisms that thrived in the ocean. Some of those microorganisms started evolving into invertebrate. Some of those invertebrates evolved into fish. Then some of those fish evolved into amphibians. Some of those amphibians evolved into reptiles. Then some of those reptiles evolved into birds, and so on.
Yet, if evolution really went on for 6 million years, like evolutionists claim, and throughout that entire time, fish evolved into land animals and land animals evolved into other land animals and human beings, there shouldn't be such a clear distinction between species. We should have all kinds of transitional types of life forms around us right now.
The platypus and echidna are a couple of egg-laying mammals, which puts them in the reptile and mammal family.
But they don't exist, which means that evolution never happened. Fact number 7. Written records don't support the theory of evolution. The last stage of evolution is said to have occurred around 80,000 years ago. That's when Neanderthal man became human. Yet, written records of mankind go back only 5,000 years. The oldest written record found to date is the Kish tablet from the ancient Sumerian city of Kish. Do you mean to tell me that man has been in the same stage of development and intellect for 80,000 years and it took him 75,000 years to learn how to write? Something doesn't add up here.
Doesn't add up, not surprising considering we know just how much you value science and mathematics. Early man were hunters and nomads. They moved with animal herds. Their writings can be found in cave drawings. Later, when man learned how to domesticate animals, raised livestock, and learned how to farm, they had more free time for socializing with their tribe. Less time spent hunting meant more time to develop early civilization.
However, if we were created by the God of heaven around 6,000 years ago, like the Bible claims, that would make more sense. Fact number 8. Evolution is a religious belief. Evolution is just as much, if not more so, of a religious belief than Christianity and biblical creation. The reason being is because it takes more faith to believe in evolution than it does biblical creation. For those that believe in biblical creation, at least we have a written record that states God revealed the act of creation to Moses. In other words, we have the testimony of someone that was actually there. God.
I have to stop the video there before I devolve into this guy. Science is not a religion. The Big Bang is a scientific theory that is widely accepted by the community. One person didn't just write a statement and it became law. It was founded by mathematics, research, and observation from brilliant scientific minds. I understand why people need religion, and I don't bash people who believe in religion. I am merely making a point why creationism should stay away from academia. Imagine if our world was ruled by religion and science never existed. No technology, no travel, no medicine. Imagine having a loved one sick from a preventable disease, and all you can do is pray. If they survive, you thank God. If they die, you say God has a plan. Fuck that. We might not have all of the answers today, but the answers we do have are better than the alternative, and the people who are searching for more answers are finding better solutions at a high rate, while religion has been stale for 6,000 years. Also, kids, if you write "because God" on any test, you will get it wrong. Thanks for watching this video. If you have a video you would like for me to react to, leave a link in the comment below. Until next time, Lehigh.